I looked at it, ticked all the boxes. I said, this is a huge opportunity for me.
Most people look at this thing and go, oh boy, this is too tough for me.
You effectively have to re-energize a company that's in the state that you just described. It's a new era, it's a new energy. Everybody's invigorated to do something. So, and we're looking for gold, not X.
Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. First of all, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. Helps us understand if this is the sort of company you think we should be spending our time on. And of course, leave your comments below because that helps us understand the sorts of questions you think we should be asking. And in fact, how you think we've done, of course, what you thought of Gold Terra. You can also catch this as a podcast, an article, and a transcription on cruxinvestor.com. And of course, for our Crux Investor Club members, you get to see this video first. And if you haven't already done so, please click the button in the corner of the screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, for more videos like this one, click the notification bell. We caught up earlier today with David Suda, who's the CEO of Gold Terra, formerly TerraX. He came in about 2 years ago to turn things around. David is an ex-markets guy, so he's coming at it very much from a financial point of view, given that TerraX had pretty much been very much about the geology and technical reporting, which didn't excite the market too much, hence the slow, gradual decline. David has brought in a few new faces, changed the emphasis, gone back out and restructured the share registry, brought a bit more money in and changed the emphasis of where the company should be focused. So lots to be excited about. I think they've got something, beginnings of something good there. Take a look in the description below at some of the topics we discuss. Anything interests you in particular, click on the number beside that topic. That's got a timestamp and I'll jump you to that part of the video. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy what David has to say. David, how you doing, sir?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you on the show. So it's a new story for us, so we're going to hear all about it. I'm loving that backdrop, though. Where is that?
That's in Yellowknife. It's our drill rig pounding away at nighttime sometime in February or March. Actually, hard to know if it's nighttime because it's pretty dark there at that time of year. So
I was about to
ask. Cool photo, though.
It's a really cool photo. I was about to ask, do you have like 24/7 shift going on or something? But it may be daytime. We just don't know.
We just don't know.
Okay. Hey, well, so where are you today then? Where am I speaking to you from?
I'm in BC. I'm in my office. Semi-quarantine. Things actually are pretty have opened up nicely in British Columbia. And knock on wood, if people stay smart and follow the rules, we should see things kind of continuing that way. But we're keeping to ourselves.
Okay. Well, look, before we kind of get into business plan strategies and that sort of stuff, can you give us just like a 1 minute overview of the company? What is it? What have you got? Not the sales pitch, though, if you don't mind.
It is a sales pitch in and of itself.
Okay, you're that good.
We've got an 800 square kilometer property, which is our flagship asset. It's in Northwest Territories, Canada. It is directly adjacent to the City of Yellowknife. We are a junior gold exploration company called Gold Terra. And we recently changed the name to Gold Terra from TerraX. We're not looking for X, we're looking for gold.
Okay, that's good. It's smart.
Good time to be doing it.
It's a good time to be doing it. Right, but let me talk to you because I do want to talk about the strategy and the business plan here because you're not long in this company, which is probably a good thing. Because if I look back at the 5-year chart, it's not pretty. It's been on steady decline down from the heights of end of 16, beginning of 17. What's been going on, and what are you doing there?
Well, I, as you know, was in equity capital markets. I was in sales and trading, and I did some investment banking. And over the years, I was always focused in resource and in mining. So I had an interest there. It's a language that I spoke. And while my colleagues were focused on cannabis, I came across this company, and I came across a shareholder of the company who was not so happy with the way things were going and said, this company needs strategy. It needs somebody with capital markets experience and some, ability to access capital. I looked at it, ticked all the boxes, and I said, this is a huge opportunity for me. I think, in a lot of ways, it was a great change. Instead of focusing on 30 companies, 28 of them that were, not great and 2 that were good, and leveraging all my best relationships that I, earned the trust of over many years. I said, let's put our eggs in this basket And, you do your due diligence, and I knew what I was going into, eyes wide open. I knew there was some hair on the dog, but ultimately I thought that it's a great vehicle. It just needed some repairs. So that was about 2 years ago. And as it is with every vehicle that you think needs a few repairs, you start to peel back the layers of the onion and you recognize it needs more work than you thought.
Okay.
But I was up for that.
Okay, but so tell me about what you think was wrong with it when you looked at it, because you just said this. I looked at this, did my diligence. I thought it was a great opportunity. Most people look at this thing and go, "Oh boy, it's too tough for me." What did you see?
Well, I saw that the obvious thing that everybody else saw that were great, but then the opportunity was the mess up. The fact that it wasn't. They lacked focus in the way they were exploring the project. They were land grabbing. Just really, it was, and lucky for them and us and some of those watching, hopefully some of those watching, this was all done at a time where nobody cared about mining. So it was a great time to do a land grab. But, over time, if you're only focusing on getting more land, and this is very prolific, prospective, good-looking land. Even a guy like me who's not a geo gets there and goes, "Wow, that's good-looking rock," and get into a little trouble past that. But seriously, this is one of those things where you need access to capital, and when markets are crappy, it's really hard to get. So you're hand to mouth on money for drilling and exploration, and you've got this growing, amazing property that you're excited about as a company or as a geologist. In this case, it was Joe Campbell, who has a great history as a geologist, very successful guy, very smart guy. Just as a group, they lacked any sort of real access to capital, and they lacked a vision for building, a public company with a gold asset. And so that was very apparent to me on the outset.
Okay.
I was like, okay, so what are we going to do about it?
Okay, so that's good. And that's not the first or last company, I suspect, with that kind of profile where you've kind of got very skilled in one area but missing in the other two, as it were. We always talk about, you need a geologist, you need a financier, you need a promoter to kind of the three legs of the stool to kind of get this thing going. So they were very much technically led, doing the land grab. Which how much money was in this thing when you walked into it?
Quite a bit.
Why?
Quite a bit. There was,
How?
They managed to, get some pretty decent shareholders in, people who saw the same thing I saw. But shareholders who believe in something, who can be long-term, who can, fly the flag through the storms, are not management. They're not leadership. You can't expect them to be management leadership. They have other jobs. They have other priorities. They're shareholders. They want to see value creation. And over time, if you don't create value for shareholders, they get tired. And then no matter what you do and how great you are, that they just don't want to be there anymore. So, that's one of the challenges that I faced that I didn't see coming into the company. I underestimated how tired the shareholder base was. Fortunately, my home in the equity capital markets world was institutional trading. So I spent a great deal of focus and time and effort on placing stock, taking it from the tired hands and placing it into new, fresh blood. And so that's that energy that, you effectively have to re-energize a company that's in the state that you just described, right? You have to bring new people in, you have to bring new vision, you have to bring shareholders, you have to bring a new focus, a new strategy. Everything has to be new. And then that's why people always say, why did you change the name? Well, just because this is a retread? No, it's a symbol of a new dawn, right? Like it's a new era, it's a new energy. Everybody's invigorated to do something. So, and we're looking for gold, not X.
Okay, so we're going to park TerraX up. You've come in, you've redistributed shares into new hands with a new story. So you must have told them something. So what is the big idea? What did you walk in thinking you were going to have to do to this company? And where's the end point? What's this? What are you building here?
It was really simple. We needed to focus, put a resource on the table, and make sure that people understand that we weren't just going to arm wave around blue sky, like effectively run from gas fire to gas fire. You know what happens with a gas fire? The gas runs out, and then what's left? Nothing, right? Scorched earth. So you can't do that as an exploration company. Like eventually, and lots will do that in this bull market. Be careful, because there will be a lot of that. But in a hard market, when you're building a really good company for the market we're in, you got to do a couple things. One is you got to constantly drill. You can't stop drilling and then reprioritize and then say, oh, we got this new property over here that looks more interesting, and we got this huge intersection, and then the stock goes up on the prospect of maybe drilling that. That's what was going on. So with Gold Terra, it's simple. Be drilling all the time. Get a resource out for the first time in 6 years. Be realistic about that resource. Make sure that you never take another ounce off the table, because you don't put out a resource out at spot gold. You put it out at $1,300, very conservative price, right? And you put out a conservative set of parameters to make sure that those ounces are there for shareholders. And then you need to start to build on that consistently. And the only way you can do that is if you're well funded and you're drilling, and you have a team that you can trust. Like, I'm not a geologist, right? I got to make sure that our company has a team that can put together a drill program where when we say we're going to build ounces, we actually build ounces. So the rubber's going to hit the road at the end of this year when we come out with an updated resource on our two main targets that make up that 43-101 inferred resource. And that's a simple start, right? You gotta start to backfill or at least like pad your valuation with something real, no gas fires. Then you can go and say, and by the way, we're in this incredibly prolific, huge district that we've amassed when nobody else cared. We're the apple of everybody's eye, and so small bumps to your resource on your current targets are great. Maybe they're going to be big. I don't know. But at the same time, people are looking for big discoveries in this market. There hasn't been a discovery made in gold, like a real one. Gosh, I can't even remember when the last one was.
Okay.
So
can we
got to be able to go for that too.
For sure. So let's talk about the team, okay? Because one of the things you just said, you got to put the team together here. And one of the names I couldn't help notice was Gerald Panneton. I mean, he's a big deal. He's a big name. He's done some big things. Is he for real, or is he just a name on the PowerPoint?
Oh, he's for real.
Right.
He is for this guy. One of the reasons that I was so pursuant of Gerald's involvement in the project, albeit a controversial move by some people's opinion, but look, this is a guy who is extremely passionate. He has a track record of success. He doesn't mince words. So look. He's bought over 5 million shares of this company since last fall. He calls me 10 times a day. I hired myself the toughest boss I could have in a way by, he's the executive chairman. So like, this is a guy who is in everybody's business all the time. And it's exactly what this company needs, because he keeps us honest, right? When you wake up in the morning and somebody's on, you wake up to 6 emails from somebody and they're asking you questions of everything from budgets to balance sheet to drill holes to how much you're spending on marketing. That's somebody who is driven. So he's real. This isn't a guy who we just gave some options to. By the way, Gerald wouldn't take options. He said, I've made my money. I'm buying stock in the market. We don't want dilution. Let's save options for people who can't afford to take this chance. As much as I can. So, this is a guy who is committed. He's real.
Okay. And so, right. So he's involved. I mean, just again, remind people of some of the things he's done in the background, because it's in the PowerPoint, but let's run through that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So he was 12 years with Barrick, where he worked with, and you may get to the name, so I might as well introduce him, Louis Dion, who is effectively Gerald's mentor. He's a mining engineer with also a very successful track record in the mining business. Gerald will say he's one of the best engineers in Canada. I don't get to say I will take Gerald's word for it, because Gerald, after Barrick founded Detour, he bought the asset from Palangio, created the vehicle, and put together a company which ultimately sold for almost $5 billion. Now, with some bumps along the way, but like, this is a guy who's very passionate, and he's not the kind of guy who, will jump to any project and arm wave around it. And, this is a guy who, when he says there's something here, like, he means it. And he's like a dog on a bone. He just won't, he won't let go until the job gets done.
Okay.
So
you see,
that history, I just want to finish.
Sure.
That history carries forward to this project, because it was an immense challenge to get him to understand and see the potential. And it wasn't that he didn't see the potential. He saw everything that I saw and what we were talking about earlier, but he questioned whether we could overcome the challenges of the past. That was the obstacle with him.
So how did Joe Campbell feel about that? Because obviously Joe's the founder of this company. He'd been going through it. It's a very technical team, going through it a very methodical way, just not a markets guy. How does someone like that feel about someone like Gerald walking in?
I think after 6 years of doing what he was doing with all of the best intentions, Joe realized that a new set of eyes and somebody else to help shoulder the burden of responsibility for decisions that were being made technically is probably a relief. I don't want to put words in Joe's mouth. Joe is a very smart man. He's his personality is very even. He sees things for what they are. He's the kind of guy I'd want to have next to me if there was a car accident. He's the guy who would be able to just like act, while everybody else is freaking out. So with that in mind, Gerald comes into the fray. They spend a day together in the data room in Ottawa. All of a sudden, Gerald goes, "Eureka! This is amazing. I love it." However, and starts to put the screws to Joe, and Joe says, "Look, it's fine. I'm a big boy. I've got my opinion, but I can also use an extra set of eyes." So they're working very well together.
Okay, so gold bull market hasn't been anything like this since 2011. Anything with gold in it is doing quite well at the moment. Do you think anything that you're doing is having an effect, or do you think it's just purely the market?
Well, definitely some of the things we're doing are having an effect. It's a combination of a lot of things. And, some of it is intentional, but then in some ways, sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart. I think we've been smart for a long time, and I think that we've been doing good things for a long time, and the stock price wasn't responding. The one thing we didn't do that much of through our winter drill program and into COVID, for better or for worse, was really focus on marketing, really spreading the word, because I didn't feel, and Gerald didn't feel, that we were really ready. And so the confluence of events of raising $7 million and going into high grade, identifying a new tremendous target on the property, being on the eve of a resource update, those are all things that once they're in place and you're funded, you're not saying, "Oh, we're going to do all this great stuff, but we need to raise more money." We push the button on, let's let some people know what we're doing. So, and that, of course, coincided with gold hitting all-time highs. So we've made a move. People are like, "Hey, are you happy? Are you happy with where you are now?" I said, "Well, I'm less unhappy."
Okay. Yeah, but do you know what I mean, David? Like, last couple of years when people have put out these kind of catalyst moments, and that could be a new resource, the market could care less, right? I guess at $1,250 gold, that's one case. But now, do you genuinely think that if you put this resource out, you're going to get a little bit more notice? In which case, it just comes down to just timing rather than effectiveness.
Of course, it matters. I mean, it matters in a great way. First of all, because we are in a market that cares about whether or not somebody has a gold resource, right? Are you a gas fire company, or do you have a resource? And so that matters. It also matters because our investor base is changing, right? We've got,
from what to what?
Multiples.
From what to what?
Well, from a very sort of stalwart retail based registry, which, look, a lot of those shareholders have been great, but again, they're tired, right? They've been around for a long time. They need fresh blood to come in and fly the flag to help support this new sort of change. And so obviously my background is in institutional. So we've definitely bolstered our registry with, I think we had like 9 institutions in our last deal. When I came to the company, there were, you didn't need many fingers to count how many institutions were in it. And they were on the exit. Now, again, environments certainly bolster certain groups' abilities to invest. Institutions are one of them, right? I mean, you could have the best institution ever in the world in your company, and in a terrible market where they're seeing redemptions, they might love your stock, but they're selling. So they're not great to have in your stock sometimes. But in a bull market, people are piling money into institutional managers' honeypots, and then they're needing to go out and deploy. So, once they get powerful, they take big swings. And so we are definitely focused on adding an institutional component and recognizing that retail drives stock price. So we're making those people who hung on and stayed with us very happy right now. And I think that, that's also going to be a big catalyst for us.
Okay, cool. I just kind of labor that point a bit, but I'm just, because I know you're a markets guy and you're a structuring guy, and you come in and kind of restructured the the share registry for sure, and also the people that you've got internally now. Maybe it's time to get into the project, because you were low grade, you're now chasing high grade. Again, what's the thinking? Are you reacting to the market, or are you reacting to the geology?
Well, we were acting to building a company and putting together a resource that, look, ultimately you need to have a mine built near the city of Yellowknife, right? Like that's where the value is. And, whether we build it or somebody else builds it, we're first building shareholder value, but you can't build shareholder value without creating something. So you have low grade there, right? It's accessible, it's economic. It's, any major is going to look at that and say, yeah, why would you just leave that sitting over there? That makes no sense, but it's not sexy. It doesn't drive your share price. So, the beauty of having high grade is that it does 2 things. First of all, it makes mining way easier. Like grade is king, right? So if we only had high grade, that would be awesome. But you don't throw low grade in the toilet. So we had an opportunity to drill a lower grade target all winter long to add ounces. You can go on our website. You can see a verify model where you can see the results. The sections are there. You don't even have to be a geologist. It's plain and simple. You can see that we had, we hit gold outside of our resource pits. And when it comes time to calculate a new resource, we expect that we're going to add ounces there. So, anybody who says, well, that was boring, I say, yeah, well, I guess making money is boring. But look, now we go to high grade. If you talk to Gerald, I hope you do at some point, he'll say, this is more exciting than Detour, because Detour was low grade. And so it becomes a game of efficiencies and engineering. And when you have tough gold price, it's really tough to make your scratch. But with high grade, solves a lot of your problems. And incidentally, the market knows that in sort of a unsophisticated way. The market wants to see 5 meters of 100 grams or whatever, these crazy things. I'm seeing some companies are having some great success, and we love to see that too, because incidentally, I love when people compare companies and people poo-poo other people's results. I want every gold company to make a discovery, because that's going to be great for the market. It's going to attract confidence, and people will come to the space. And when somebody makes a huge discovery or a company gets bought, people want to go and invest in the next one that's going to make the next discovery and be, the next company that gets bought. So look, high grade is absolutely where we're focused now. We're going to start drilling really soon on high grade, and it's going to be on a deposit where we have had historical success, but it's never been drilled to depth. So, again, it's like, look at something and go, what's the change? Well, Matt, the change is we're going way deeper on this target that has never been drilled deep. Why has it never been drilled deep? Doesn't matter. We're going to drill it deep now.
Okay. So I'm sort of intrigued here, because high grade and low grade, two very different types of drilling, different types of company, different types of processing, different cost structures, all of that kind of good stuff. At some point, you're going to have to get into the whole study. Once you've got your new resource out, you're going to have to get into some sort of study, PEAs and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, but what's your plan? What's your thinking of this thing? How long do you continue drilling for?
You don't stop drilling. You drill as much as you can, especially in a market that's willing to give you capital to drill, because it's all about finding gold. And so, when do you build a mine? When do you do a PEA? That doesn't matter. We're going to bring shareholders value by continuing to move forward. So moving forward is adding to your resource consistently, not just like once every 3 years and making people wait. And if you're drilling all the time, then you want to be adding to your resource annually, right? And so if you're not doing those things.
Well, I don't know. Let's explore that a second, okay? Because not everyone can be a great bear about this. Like even the pure golds of this world have, had to, whilst they've been drilling and trying to work out what they've got, they've put out studies, so people have got some sort of sense of the economics of this. What does this thing look like? I'm not asking you when you're going to build a mine or if you're going to build a mine. Of course, that would be a bit absurd. But at this point, your plan is to what? Drill till when? You just keep raising money while you can, get drill results?
At this point, our plan is to continue to drill the project until we have a meaningful resource. 735,000 ounces is not a meaningful resource.
Absolutely. So what's the number for you?
2 million ounces. I'm just throwing out a number.
Look, I'm not trying to be flippant here. I'm just saying you always need a sense of how far the management team's willing to go before they're happy with their number. I know you're going to react to what the market desires, but there's some. Okay, if you haven't got more than 1 million ounces, it's not really interesting. There's a kind of very boring stat in the marketplace. But some people build these things out to 5 million ounces, and no one's interested. So, what's your plan? Is what I'm getting at, right?
We're right next to town, right? And we're in Canada. People are interested at a number way lower than 5 million ounces. That's that. And in this kind of market, so I think I know what you're getting at. We have a plan. The plan is to get this thing off its ass, right? So I think the stock should have been trading at 50 cents when I joined. And so this is just the beginning. We need to get moving. We need to let's see what happens when we put out a resource at the end of the year. And let's see how people view that resource. Will we do a PEA in January? No, I don't think so. I think we need some more time than that. We haven't even touched the Campbell Shear, which is our new, sort of most prospective blue sky target, which we can talk about, or investors can go to our website, and it's very simple. This is a structure which produced 5 of the 6 million ounces at the Con mine, and it runs onto our property south and north. So we got to drill that too, because that's going to be, we believe that's going to be a huge player in all of this. So I love to be pressed to say so what's your plan? The plan is what we set out to do. We got to drill high grade. We got to step 1, increase our resource, Crystal semi-auto. We got to drill Campbell Shear and see what's there. Can we find that next big discovery in the camp? Then we'll think about the next phase. But what I've just laid out takes until, let's say, April 2021.
Right, at which point you kind of work out what to do next.
Yeah. And there will be a lot we have to say along the way to feed the market to get there.
And the money you've raised recently gets you to that point, does it? And then you need to go back out to market.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we officially stated we're going to drill 10,000 meters between now and the end of the year. So, first we're going to get to Crystal, where we're going to drill 7 deep holes. And then we're going to keep feeding you guys with information about, what's going to get drilled next. and it's all exciting because it's all high grade.
Okay. How many shares have you got?
Got around 1 million. Got a lot of options, which is very gracious of Mr. Panaton, considering he's taken none. He's got 5 million shares. Joe's got a lot of stock. Our board members are all shareholders. So look, this is a company that's aligned as well. You know, we're everybody here needs this to be a success for their own reasons. As I mentioned to you, I changed my, I moved cities. I left a career where I saw my, comfortable relaxation on the horizon because I wanted to do something real. I truly believe that one of the reasons why people get involved in business I'm in is because there is something to be said for creating something that's bigger than yourself. Okay. We have we want to be a big deal to the City of Yellowknife, right? We want to have an impact there on people's lives. And we have been and will continue to do that in a positive way as much as possible. So, we're driven.
Okay. Well, David, nice run through story. Haven't heard it before. I think we spoke to the TerraX guys back in the day, but it's not a story we've gone anywhere near for lots of reasons since then. It's nice to see you come in and try and shake things up, create a turnaround story. You brought some of the right people in, that's for sure. Stay in touch. Let us know how you're getting on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it because we're nose to the grindstone, and it's nice to come up for air with something good to say.